Guys, welcome back. You see we get that stand there underneath this incredibly large fuel tank. So we'll see if we can get this changed. This metal guard, which it's a support that's just disintegrating. Oh, there you go. So that's what's holding that into the vehicle, man. So anyway, we're going to drain the transfer box oil and we're going to flush it out. So we've got 2 litres there. It holds a litre, but we'll put some juice. Jeez, man, look at the colour of that. So we'll put some juice in it. And we'll try and unjam that clutch up there. There's a clutch in there that splits the transfer 50-50. So it does look like it's low on oil as well, so we'll let that drain away. So it holds a litre, so I'm not imagining that's going to get to a litre, to be honest with you. So we'll need to flush it, put the clean oil in it, and see if we can get that clutch to unjam. There is an unjam procedure in the autel. You can actually see the auto box just on that corner. There's actually starting to leak as well. So that's going to want the Brit part filter kit on it, I reckon. That's what I would recommend anyway. To do it with the landrover when you need the body off. To get the gearbox lifted up to get that out of there, because the filter's part of that sump. So the way around about it is Brit part. I've got a modified kind of sump, which is a metal pan, a filter which then goes up, and then the metal pan holds the filter in, if you like. So it's a bit of a better design, service wise anyway. I've had a lot of people on the line, you know, not too liking that setup, but I quite like it. But anyway, we'll crack on here. We'll come back once we get this drained. Right guys, I've managed to get all the bolts turning on it. So the transfer box is about 200-300 miles low on oil, so it's not drastically low, so we'll just need to hope that we can unjam it and get it all working again. So up here you have your park brake emergency release there, that cable which clips onto this guard. Now I did have a customer, I did rear parking brake shoes I think before on a disco, and he phoned me back up about a week later and he says, "I've been doing England holiday with my disco, and ever since you did those back brakes I'm getting this noise." So he brought it up, and when he brought it up I was like, right, well, it's actually that cable for the park brake release, which we've not been anywhere near. I says, but it looks like the fuel tank and all that's been out it. That happened when I was doing holiday. So it was absolutely, he didn't mention that the fuel tank had been touched, he only mentioned that it had been doing it since we touched the rear brakes. So there you go, eh. So backing plates are going on it, and that disc needs changed. It's oh crap, and that one, the backing plate's full in it. So well, I've already covered all of this, guys, so we'll crack on. I might not film some of this. I'm going to need to move the night heater bit for the night heater. So up there, there's that little pump that feeds the night heater with diesel for the tank, so we need to move that out the road of the tank guard, so we don't damage it any. Now I'm going to just need to try and fish this new panel in, I think. Obviously we've got the big stand there holding the tank up, so hopefully we can just fish it in, get the bolts back in it, and then hopefully that'll up with that taken care of. We know about the sump on it. It's not ideal, like the sump is pretty rotten, man, so that's going to want done. And I think you can get these without taking the diff out and all that, so it's not horrendous to do. It's not an easy job, but it's not horrendous. But that should have been highlighted to the guy whoever serviced it last. No much point in servicing it if the oil's just coming out. So, and you can see the oil's coming out, so we'll need to check the oil before we do anything on it. I think this anti-oil bar link, that one's away. There you go. So probably the D-bush is probably knackered as well. So there you go. Loads of bits being done on this one. Right, we'll crack on here, see if we can get this fuel tank support changed. It's a big huge bit of metal. So I'd cracked all the bolts on this and I thought, oh you beauty, they're all going to go, other than that one there, which we're going to need to buff through and see if we can fish what's left out and see if we can put another fixing in. If we have the right one, just need to see what we can do, to be honest with you. So the new comes with some of the new bolts. The ones that are into this side of the chassis you need to be used. And then they did start off, I think we're at 15, 14 and they're actually 13, so they're well rotten, and we can see the chassis is well rotten. You can see how much there. My flashes ran as dry, so it's really rotten, the car, to be honest with you. So it needs a load of bits, you know, because of the rot or the brake flexi hose up on lower suspension arms. You can actually see a bit on the wheel arch there as well. So yeah, it's kind of getting to the restoration stage in the sump, we know. Anyway, we'll crack on. Yeah, that was interesting. So obviously you can see how that has come off. So, in honest to God, man, look at the rot. So let's see how sturdy it is here. Alright, not very sturdy there either. A bit sturdier there. Alright, there you go. Yeah. Alright, that was going to hold your tank in with a full tank in it, on it. So let's just see how we remove this bit then. See if we can find a workaround. Let's see. Right, that's that off of my stand. Jesus. Right, so that's meant to be holding your fuel tank in, your L320. Jesus. Christ, eh? So that's what's holding your fuel tank in, guys, an L320. That is a guard, it's also a support. I've got a new tab in there. Unfortunately the bolt's in there somewhere. I did have it and then I dropped it, so God knows. So it's in there somewhere. Okay, so that's the big fuel tank support and guard fitted. So I have to put the cable back in to its bit up there, and I need to put this back on. So there's only 2 bolts that hold that. It was those incredibly rusty ones there. So obviously you've seen that one we had to buff through, so we managed to get a bolt in there, and hopefully that'll be okay. So I'll get a wee touch up with black paint, get a wee bit scratched. Not sure if that's happened actually, it's a little bubble wrapped. Maybe just been me fitting it, so I'll put a wee bit of black paint on it, just touch it up. So we've refilled the transfer box as well. Landrover special oil, and there's a wee tiny dribble basically. Now I've got a big transfer pump, right, but when you're using these litres, see that's another box, transfer box oil. So what I did was one of these Ravenol ones. Basically managed to get the cap off it so you can use the little tube, you know, like this for filling it, because very rarely you're doing that type of oil, and that is a special oil specific to Land Rover. So I really don't see the point in dismantling all of that, you know, for 2 litres of oil really. So that's what I do with them, because the majority of the transfer boxes in things, you know, be ATF or some sort of gear oil, just seems to be these that's you can't get it anywhere else other than Land Rover. So I've not came across that with any other Ford before, that you can't get the, you know, the transfer box oil or whatever, only other than the dealer. So like, what's that in there? There's obviously a bit meant to be on here for this as well. Looks like there's a wee clip there. I don't actually see where that one's meant to go. It's maybe just for different models. So it's in there and it's on there, and we'll bolt this bit in with some new bolts, I think. There you go. So right, we'll come back when it's down. Hopefully I don't need a jacket, but I probably will, because we had the jacket to get it on the lift. I think eventually the suspension started working right on it. So we'll get it down, get a big autel hooked on it, and see if we can relearn that clutch procedure for the transfer box, because it's just, even going in a straight line, it's just bang, 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 terminated, so it's not very good. So we'll need to fix that. You know, there's a saying at the Colt car company in Cirencester, which is Mitsubishi, or was Mitsubishi, I'm not sure if it's still there actually, the Colt car company. If you want something like pretty in your driveway, buy yourself a Land Rover. If you want to get home, buy a Mitsubishi. So Mitsubishi is really reliable, but actually, see, thinking about it, I found something that they share in the UK especially. This is clearly what they share, crustacean. But other than that, I'd buy a Mitsubishi. There you go. Right, so the fuel tank support guard is in. I'll get a wee bit of satin black on that and touch that bit up. The transfer box is topped up. We'll get the big autel on it, and we'll see if we can start unjamming this clutch, and hopefully that's all she needs. Highlight that to the customer as well. I just noticed that. Do not stand on that step. That is disintegrating. Yeah, it's disintegrating. So don't stand on that either. Good, man. I wonder if she'll start. And I wonder if she's still up on her bags. That would be nice if she's still up on her bags. It would mean we wouldn't need to get the jacket, because I believe this had come up on its suspension, so hopefully it has stayed up. Something at the back anyway. That's up at the front, and you can see we've got big huge steps to clear all your side steps, so as we don't damage them, but they're rotten anyway, so they need replaced. And again, what is going to happen if you go to replace these side steps is you maybe need to change the sills. So you maybe need to chop the sills with it, because that's where they bolt onto. So that'll be interesting. Let's see if it's got any power. I spied that actually. That there just now. So I'll say remove the key from them so you don't drain the dash. Yeah, drain the battery. But well, no, it's held a charge. I've been off 6, so I hope it has. And you can see the diesel light is actually flashing away there, so there was nothing in it. 29 miles range, so. Oh, you beauty! Oil lights on. This went off, so just because it's been sat for you well. Right, so I need to get the autel on it and see. I'm ready to take it off the lift actually, so we'll see if we can get the clutch to relearn on this transfer box. See if we can get it working the way it should, because it shouldn't be banging just going in a straight line. It should be banging going around any corners at all, but we'll need to see what we can do about it. Now we managed to get it back down to its normal height, but it wouldn't go down. It kept coming up saying suspension fault, and it come in with that light on the arrows and the yellow car. Oh, help! Suspension no working. So you need to be quick. Switch it off, turn it back on, press the down button before the fault appears, and it went down. So, but we'll get the autel now and see what we can do with this clutch. Right, so we've already scanned this before. See this lost communication, U codes and instrument panel cluster. That could be a future issue. So what can happen with these Land Rovers is you put the key in, turn the key, and all you get is the flashy and the hazards. And we'll say no more about that. The people that know Land Rovers will know what I'm talking about. So transfer case control module, it's lost communication with the engine control module and power control module. I don't think I've seen that before the last time, I'm sure. I don't think there was anything in the transfer case module the last time we scanned this. Anyway. Fuel level, it's permanent because it's low. So that'll go away with me. Heater and lockout mode permanent, I've not seen that one before. So heater and lockout mode, whatever that means. Right, this all seems to be a load of crap, that's it anyway, so we'll get rid. The ones that we'll get rid of anyway. Right, we'll pause. Right, so that's good. Transmission control module, nothing. Transfer case control module, nothing. But it did have a code for lost communication. Instrument panel, I think. No, engine control module. It had lost communication with. So, right, I'll have a read through all of this. There's lots of data input. Right, so we'll go in here. Okay, so we can see it's at minus 44, not good. Right, let that do its thing. Okay. Still doing its thing. Right, so that's going to calibrate the control module. Right, okay, it's failed it for the third time, no idea why. Right, I'm not counting my chickens just yet, because every time I tried this it just kept coming up and saying it had failed, and then a fault that we didn't have was the high and low range flashy on the dash, the big green light. So, but eventually I heard it and I could hear all the clunking. My battery died, so I had to put it on charge, so I didn't be able to film it, but I just went to grab it there, but it finished by the time I get back. But you could hear it all clunking underneath, so it was actually doing something. So I mean, I looked at the live data earlier on before I tried to recalibrate the transfer box. It said the clutch was at -44. I need to go back and check my own video, but I think it said -44, and then after that we tried it, it kept coming up saying failed. So we moved over here onto the remapping GYS flash. That's what we use for remapping, just keeping the battery stable. But it's really good in the Land Rover, so we were hooked over a charger over there, so I'm not sure if that charger's maybe not right, but we brought it over here and tried it over here, and it still wasn't working. Tried a couple of things, and eventually it's just decided it's going to do it. So it's not finished, it's still going, so hopefully it just keeps working. So you can hear all that, and there's that nuisance light back on. It's now saying the low range is selected. So that says that's okay, that's completed. Now the transfer case is in the low range, press OK. This procedure will perform to calibrate the clutch. That's what we want, man. We want the clutch working again. You can hear some bits doing that there. Only got 28 miles of range, so hopefully we can get this to work and get some fuel in it. Got to take it a good old run and see what happens with it. So it says that that bit's done. Now this procedure will perform range change high, press OK. You can hear all the bits, high range selected. So you can hear a load of things moving under there, so hopefully it's doing its bit. I knew it wasn't doing anything because I wasn't hearing anything, and I've did this a few times with Land Rovers, and that's what I was waiting for, all the bits going underneath, all the clunks. Right, so now you put it to 0. I'm not saying this is going to fix it, but we need to start here. Right, important instructions: start the engine and select low range. So start the engine started, and select low range. That seems to be selected. Once displayed, select high range. That's selected. Once displayed, press OK. OK. N for manual, P for automatic, OK. Ensure the ignition is turned off. Successful. So hopefully I just did that. Hopefully this time, man. Right, so DTC's clear and read the one log DTs, and we were getting one come up saying that the clutch was jammed, basically. Sorry, it wasn't. I can't remember the exact wording on it, I need to go and look at it, but it was basically saying there was a problem with the position sensor of the clutch in the transfer box module, so in the transfer box itself, actually, sorry, not the module, but the module's up there, and he's looking at everything down there. It can be bad for water ingress in there. Obviously I've got the battery cover off it just now, with the GYS flash hooked onto the battery. So hopefully now all this is done, that this will drive without banging its head off. No idea why. I mean, I know that there is some sort of fault because it's saying that the park brake's on even when the park brake's off, or the red light's on, so could be a brake light switch, could be anything. We would need to look into that, we'd need to go through the codes and see what's in there. Come on, machine! Oh, there you go. It's doing something. Clearing fault codes. If we clear all that banging underneath, that'd be grand. Turn to position 0. off! Oh, I nearly pressed the wrong button there. Please work. Fingers crossed. Fingers, toes. Say your prayers, your Hail Marys. Right, let's see. Turn to position 2. Back onto the position 2. Back onto position 2. Right, it's doing its thing again. We'll hit the pause. Oh! Right, it says it's completed successfully. Turn to position 0. Right, now is the moment of truth. So they really don't like when the batteries haven't the right on these, so you can see we've got it in diag mode, 13.9 volts, so it's giving it a steady voltage there. We'll stop that because it doesn't like it when they're running. So right, so we're going to go and road test this, and fingers crossed all that banging's away. If not, we may need to go in and maybe just replace the transfer box or start replacing motors. It may be worth just pricing the whole thing against replacing each individual component, because it's nearly 200,000 miles. I've seen them with more than that, still fine, but yeah, you never know.